Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're listening to Marrio Esco Live, where we like to interview people who are actively serving the community, share testimonies, music videos, exclusive updates and announcements, and really we just want to utilize the platform to encourage, edify, challenge if necessary as we go over various topics and subjects. We're not perfect and we don't have all the answers, but we're firm believers in iron sharpening iron, and we really just want to build and edify together. So with that said, I hope you're blessed and enjoy the show. Grace and peace. Yo, what up? This is Marrio Esco Live. Alongside me is my good friend and co-host, Vargas.
What up?
And we have another guest with us today. Actually, I still was guessing. Last episode, we were talking about Shane is a guest, not a guest, because he keeps us guessing whether he's going to come through or not as the official co-host. But he he gave us an update ahead of time. He shot me a text and gave me a call just about an hour and a half before the show started.
Just to confirm.
Just to confirm. Hey, man, we still on? Yeah.
I know you guys are 13 episodes in and continuously doing this every single week, but are you guys going to be doing this week?
So Shane's in the building with us today, man. I'm excited about what we have for you guys today. Before we begin, though, last week, I felt like I went too much on a bunch of tangents last week. There was a few people that hit me up and the same word kept popping up.
Tangents.
That's
all right.
So
we're passionate about this stuff, man.
So it had me thinking, I was like, you know what? First of all, I got to pray to communicate effectively. Number one, I got to make sure that I get my points across. But then there were other things that were happening with the show that I realized as we were going through. When people are jumping in on the live, we like to make sure that, that we see you and that we're listening to you and that we're interacting back and forth. That's part of the reason why we love the live. I mean, we could just pre-record this and then I can upload it later, but the reason why we like to go live is because of that interaction. But when somebody's trying to make a point, and then I'm like, hey, what's up, Carlos? Hey, what's up? Yeah. In the middle of someone trying to make a point, it kind of distracts. This is episode 14.
Facts.
So we're still learning as we go along. I want to make sure that we understand, what it is that we're trying to do with the show, what the motives are. So that's part of one of the things that I want to update you guys with. And just for those that are new jumping in or those that have been rocking with us and saw a shift from interview style to just talking about whatever style to, we're trying to figure out the way as we go along. But so what I got here is refining up our motive. I just want to clarify. So what we're not a Sunday service. We're not a Bible study. We're not a men's group. Women are involved. This is more like, primarily we want to talk about Christian hip hop because we're Christian creatives. Shane is a pastor, so he's a bless. I'm just naming it and claiming it. So it's just a blessing to have Brother Shane with us as well. On the show as well, and so we do talk about biblical stuff. Part of our segment is actually talking about what we went through at our churches. So that's part of the things I want to talk about, so we can discuss how it's going through our week, and not that it's going to be an in-depth Bible study like I said, but it is a Christian show, and we want to share that. We think it's an important part of our week, and we want to be able to share that.
We just don't want to mislead anybody and think that if you guys come to the show that we're going to be dissecting scripture, you know what I mean? And it's not that type of show. There's plenty of shows out there for that.
Yeah.
We could recommend you to a bunch of shows if you're looking for Bible study style shows or podcasts, but this is more of a dialogue type show. Like we want to talk about these things and discuss through them, personal, affiliations to whatever we're talking about, our thoughts on what's going on culturally, things that are going on in the music and the applications to what we read in the Bible and how can it apply to our walk and, things of that nature. So it's just more of a dialogue. Like you're going to hear different opinions. Mario might not agree with me. I might not agree with him, and Shane might not agree with all of us.
Shane most likely might not agree with all of us.
Exactly. I think that's going to be the most consistent, just because
he'll back it up with the words, and we'll be like,
but
my experience,
and not
In my experience,
not that scripture based conversations is not bad. It's not that. It's just we want to be a different type of show. We want to give a voice to those who have frustrations and have these concerns and don't have the voice or the platform to say these things. So, that's our main focus. We want to just open up for everybody to come in, say your opinions. We'll talk about it. We'll think these issues through, and I hope you guys are edified as much as we are.
The other thing we want to do too, man, is engage the culture is something that we want to do. With that comes like talking about trending topics and stuff like that. Not that we're always going to be talking about stuff like that, because I'm not going to honestly waste my time looking to talk about hot topics. And I got to be faithful to my family. I got a full-time job. I got to be wise with my time. So I'm not going to be looking for trending topics all the time. But I'm saying, like, if it's something I see on my news feed and everyone's engaging on this one topic, maybe I might zoom in on that topic and then we'll go through that.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. We want to engage the culture, but ultimately we want to have a good time while we do it.
We want to laugh. We want to cry. We want to have a good time. You know what I mean? Like in the crying, I mean out of laughter.
Entertainment, man. That's another thing that I pray for too, is that you guys come in and that you find it not only valuable, not only edifying, but also thought-provoking and entertaining at the same time, because it is a show. We got to put on the show for you guys to be entertained and have a good time, and just us chilling. I just want this to be like we're kicking back and we're chilling and we're just talking, open discussion.
For real.
So with that said, update on the location real quick. It's there. We're still renovating it. The conference table came in. Gil helped me out today, bring it upstairs. So the conference table is there. We're still waiting on other items to arrive. Once they do, we're going to set everything up, and I'm excited about it. So keep us in prayer and lifted there as well. But I'm excited about the new spot and what we're going to do to it.
It's going to be so dope. I can't wait for you guys to see the vision and see what this show is, where it's heading, and the doors that God is opening for us, especially, dude. Episode 14. And God is already showing so much to us that I'm humbled.
Amen.
Humbled.
Ever since Shane came in, all of a sudden, all these blessings started falling from the sky.
Yo.
I was like, blessings on blessings. No.
Blessings on blessings. That's because he's over there with the Bible like this. It's not money. It's Bible scriptures. That's how he looks for scriptures in the church. He's like, I want you guys to turn to Psalms. He's such a beast with it that he doesn't even have to look at it.
He gives everybody Psalms right there. The whole church got Psalms.
Everybody getting Psalms.
Babies are getting Psalms.
This is Oprah. You get some Psalms. Yeah. You get some Psalms. We all get some Psalms.
Duck is Psalms. Entertain,
Exactly. See, these are good tangents. Yeah. These are good tangents.
All right. I lost what were we saying? I forgot. We were live for a second.
He was talking about how
man,
14 episodes in.
That we just 14 episodes in, and God is already like revealing so much to us.
Oh, okay, that's where we got lost.
To where this is heading, like
the
picture is becoming more and more clear. Literally, week after week after week,
it becomes
something comes up that we're like, what?
Well, we're serious about it, and we want to improve in every way. We're trying to improve, as you can see. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention my little Marrio Esco logo on the left side. I don't know, Shane.
We coming up. Look at it. Where is it? Right here.
Wait.
Hey, right here.
Oh, Shane is off. We were running this without Shane for a good however long it's been.
Dang, my bad.
Say something.
Yo.
Okay, what were you saying?
You know what's hilarious about the logo?
You see the Marrio Esco one. I'm like, yeah, it's tagging Gil.
Yo, but you know what?
It's whatever Gil's shirt is on.
Yo, but
he's like, we're sponsored by Marrio Esco.
Sponsored by.
The hilarious part is that he texted me before he got here. He said, "Yo, test my mic." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna test it." I just shut it off.
That's why Gil's not. That's why Gil's not.
Hear him.
I'm not techie, man. I'm not techie. I was like, "Yo,
you should have seen him.
Test my mic before
I'm gonna be real. Let me be real
just
quick.
Turn this off.
Let me be real. So by the way, Sammy, here we go. I'm practicing. Sammy, my wife, she always says I'm always hitting or touching Gil all the time.
For real.
And she's like, stop
Yeah, man.
doing that. You're always beating him up.
Do be
So I'm
slapping
being
me.
mindful, okay?
He's always slapping me.
I get a bonus for that. So I don't know what we're talking about. What's next?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
so
on the
yeah,
dock?
with that said, yeah, we're excited about it. I lost my way again, but we're going to keep it moving. So the next segment that we have, Shane, is what we're currently going through within our own churches. Now I know you're the pastor, so you can you like summarize
I'm
the
not the
sermon,
pastor.
please?
Summarize.
Can you?
If he jumps in, Joel's jumped in from time to time, but we actually do have a pastor watching right now, Brandon from Maine. What's up, man? Anyway, right now at Mount Hope, Joel, we've been going through 1 Timothy. It's been interesting. It's been great. We've only been in for like 3 weeks, but last week, man, was like, it was 1 Timothy 2, 1 through 15, just talking about, like the different roles between male and female and how God's design is beautiful. But it was tough because you have, one, being in the college ministry, you bring college students and, they're coming from all different backgrounds, all different theologies, all different doctrines. And some when it comes to pastors, are more egalitarian, which just basically means you're okay with like women pastors. And just to hear more of a complementarian, more conservative theology, not politically, I'm talking about theological. Talking about God's design for both genders and male and female and how that's beautiful, and it's not
Did you say both genders?
both genders meaning two. Yes.
I thought there was more than two.
Well, it's interesting.
Oh.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
thought- no.
Man, of course.
Isn't there like 7?
Wait, hopefully I say this right. Gender is a binary
I
concept.
think there's like 7. LGBT.
Well, but you know what's funny? It's like,
are retarded.
but like
no,
even
no,
if you
I'm
think of-
just-
I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go here, but like even within the LGB, B is for bi, which means two, either way, which is very
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then I actually, what's funny? I saw a meme the other day. It's like when your worldview crashes down on you, and it was like a T-shirt that said there are no genders, but yet they only sold them in men and women sizes.
Dang.
I mean, not to go there.
Got
And listen,
him. All right, got it.
we
Got it.
love all. We
Go
love
ahead.
all.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But
But,
that is hilarious, though.
No, but like it's been a very.
Sorry, I just saw
fruitful-
an opportunity.
I know,
My
man.
bad,
You
bro.
threw
Go
me.
ahead.
You let
there
me
are
say it.
There are no genders. Okay?
I like to
No.
test you, man.
What's
I
all
don't
you
wanna-
let me say
man
it.
That's when you know.
Oh, man. You let me say it.
That's when the skills comes out with the word. He's like, hold up a second. What'd he say?
I'm sorry, I can't.
But
I
you
can't
know,
get
it
off
was
of the
just
fact.
really,
that
really, it was a really, really good sermon, and
dope.
it was very, very, very fruitful. And just talking about how God's design is good. Not only because He is, but literally He said it's good. you know,
Yeah.
so He knows what He's doing, and it's just without going too much into it, you could always check it out on the website.
Yeah.
Which is MountHopeChurch.org.
Mount
Mount Hope MT Hope
Church.
Church.org.
There you go.
Yep.
That's what's up, man. Well, at my church, my pastor just came back from a sabbatical. He's been gone for about a month. And normally what we do is expositional preaching. So we do chapter by chapter, verse by verse. So we, for those that don't know, where we left off, we come back the following Sunday, same spot, and we continue forward. So it was different when he came back because when he was gone, we had the associate pastor preaching, and he was going through the book that he's going through. So now we went from Hebrews to John, and now my pastor came back. Shout out to Pastor Mike Abendroth. Love you. No Compromise Radio. Love you. That's my pastor's radio. I guess it runs in the church. I don't if that's the thing. But yeah, so he came back and he did a topical sermon this time because he wanted to prep us for Hebrews 6 is what we're going into. So he wanted to just prep our mindset for the theme of Hebrews 6. So he did a topical sermon.
So let me ask you a question then.
Go ahead.
You're used to expositional preaching,
Yeah.
right? Is there a place, and obviously, I mean, you guys went through a topical sermon, but what do you think about topical sermons?
I think that topical sermons have their place I think the pastor knows their flock, and if there's anything specific that he's seeing within his whole flock and he wants to address that with the word, then that's an appropriate time to go ahead and do that. Because at the end of the day, he's leading, right, with the word. And if he notices something, like at our church, we had extra parenting classes, and there was it was a hot mess at one point. I remember like at one point the kids were all over, like, you know what I mean, and new faces were coming
gotta
in.
Be so embarrassing.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, it was a hot mess at one point.
I was glad I didn't have a kid.
And not that it was. I seen worse. I seen
like all these parents. You must be ashamed of yourself.
Get him with a chuleta.
I got it. Yo, guys, I flopped. Matter of fact, Shane, no, grab me that keyboard real quick, please.
Which one?
The keyboard
Right underneath.
rollout
Grab me that
thing?
keyboard.
Underneath rollout.
This is important.
Bluetooth.
Hold on, you guys gotta wait for this one.
It's gonna be a little late, but that's okay.
That's all right. You ready? Yes. You ready? Hold up. Come on. Work for me. Tell me it's this one.
I hope it works.
Oh, they heard that full blast. So, yeah, we're working on some stuff, guys. We're gonna have some sound bites up in here.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so that's for those that don't know.
So what we mean by that is at that time, every single kid that was acting unruly deserved a chuleta to their face. Every single one of them.
Wow.
And the parents.
On point. That's impressive. I totally lost it. Go ahead, man.
I got you, bro.
That's impressive. Go ahead.
So every kid deserved a chuleta to the face. So that's gonna be our thing. When kids, when anything is out of order or someone is acting out of order, they're gonna get a chuleta. That's what's gonna happen because it all spawned from that chuleta moment with me and Marrio, and we brought it here. And if you guys don't know that story, you need to find that.
Find your chuleta.
That video and research.
Okay, hold up, man. My church, man.
And now I feel like I'm Barack Obama right now. I'm like,
hold up, my
talking
church.
to these dudes like,
all right,
you need to go back to the video.
What just happened? I
don't know what happened.
You guys all witnessed that because I didn't even know what was happening at all. I
was talking about the chuleta moment. I realized I'm like talking like I'm Barack Obama over here. Like
all I heard was Shane is like, yeah, get political on him. I'm hearing like him coaching you as you're
like my fellow Americans.
My
fellow Americans.
All right.
Somehow he never knows what he's saying.
So it's most of his speech. You're talking about your.
That's what he's looking. He's looking
extra parent. Yes.
Anybody?
Talking about the extra parenting classes, like.
All right, no. Skip all that. It was a topical sermon. Here's the
based
main
on
point.
all the bad parents in the church.
It was no man. We lost. We done lost.
We didn't.
So last week, my pastor did a topical sermon, and we kind of hopped around in the Bible, but the main topic was assurance, and the main takeaway was, where do you find assurance, and how do you keep it if you have it? And then he went into people looking to themselves to look for that assurance, and there's nothing there to give you assurance within yourself. It's nothing but guilt and shame. So he brought up Martin Luther, who was known to have like bad struggles with his sins. And his boy came alongside him and was like, yo, bro, you do know that you're worse than you think, right?
Nothing but facts.
You know, like you do know that you're worse than you think, because God seeks the inner heart. Like he sees sins that we don't even know is there. like he seeks deep in the heart, and he sees in our blind spots, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then he's like, you don't look inside of yourself. And then he went into people who say, well, I got baptized, or I got like a list of things to do. I completed these things. And he's like, you don't go to the things you completed for assurance. And he was just like, you go to Christ and Christ alone. He's the one that you go to for assurance, and he's the one that you go to keep that assurance.
Amen.
So, yeah.
Because a lot of people find their assurance in things. And then when those things don't fully assure you, I guess, for lack of a better word, that's when they start to completely doubt.
Yeah, because they make terrible gods, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Idols make terrible gods.
Idols make
And it's not
terrible
always
gods.
and it's not always something bad.
That's
too.
why
Sometimes
when
they
we
idol
see-
even the Bible itself. There's people who take the Bible and idolize it itself.
Or even something good too, like not just the Bible, but like there's people who, even if they're non-believers, they idolize their family.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, you can never. And it's like, nah, man. Like, I know situations where you hold the family over everything. You know.
True.
And man, I love my family, but you know what I'm saying. It could be definitely be an idol at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Anything can. Anything can. You know, working too hard.
Yeah.
You know, workaholics. You know, I don't know, side hobbies. Like you said, parenting.
Oh, I can't speak as a
How
parent.
about
I'm not
this?
a parent,
How
but
about
I know
this?
what you're saying.
How about this? Ministry.
Ministry?
Ooh.
Ministry is a good one.
Ministry. What else?
And I think I've heard people say, like, when you idolize the ministry, and this might have heard this before, it might be cliche at this point for you, but I heard someone say, like, when checking the hearts of the minister, or any Christian for that matter, who just like is engrossed in ministry, it's just like you have to ask yourself, are you more in love with the ministry of God than you are with the God of the ministry? You know, and when you start putting
That's
that
sick.
stuff, you know, when you start putting it over,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's just a constant, you know, guarding yourself, discernment, constant. That's dope. Okay.
I mean, that's like part of like
What's up?
like how we see.
Hey, Sammy, is this all right? Is this okay? Can I do this?
This has been our whole friendship.
Can I do that?
Everything, every time, like, yo, you should hear this new rap. Yo, the rap I just did. Yo, the rap. And I'm
You come home,
literally
you
looking
come
at
home
him.
all bruised up.
All bruised.
Were you at Mario again?
Somehow wifey knew. Freaking guy.
I told you to wear the arm
go
pads.
home wearing a sling. Yeah, going home wearing a sling. He's gonna come and dress like Optimus Prime next.
Man, now I forgot my point. Oh, that our relationship, like between like our ministry and like our wives, is very similar. And or anything, even anything biblical, it's a constant search. Like I've told, you know, young guys looking into relationships, I'm like, yo, the best advice I can give you is to never stop seeking your wife. Like, you always treat her like if you were still trying to court her. Like, you're always trying to get her attention, always, you know, showering her with compliments. Like, it should never stop. Same thing to our relationship with God, to how we view ministry is a never-ending seek. Like, that's how those people are able to fall into these traps and their own fleshly desires, because they stopped at some point seeking.
Yeah.
Like, actively seeking constantly without ceasing. You know what I mean? It's funny
That's
how
right.
everything is without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. Everything's always constant.
Salad without season.
Salad without seasoning.
That's that. No,
You know what I mean? It's
You say salad without seasoning?
this guy.
that's too plain, man. You know,
Well,
you need to
it's
throw
too
some
plain.
seasoning
You
on
gotta be
everything,
constant
you know
with
what I'm
that
saying?
seasoning.
Like,
Even in and out of seasoning.
No joke, man. I would actually, most of the time I eat my salad with no dressing.
what?
Yeah, man.
No, man.
not
How
even
do you
kidding.
eat a salad without dressing,
Bro, I load it up. First of all, I don't do lettuce.
I hope you load it
I
up
do.
with something.
That's
I-
disgusting.
I put all spinach, and then just a mad vegetables and.
But spinach has a strong taste too.
It's good,
It's
man.
like a
Well,
earthy.
sometimes I'll either chop up habaneros or I'll chop up
Oh, I see.
jalapenos.
That's seasoning. What you
Well, I
talking
mean,
about?
when I say
you can't say
Man,
I don't
come
use,
on.
I don't use
When you
seasonings.
say-
A little bit
I
of
use
cheese
fresh
in there.
okay,
oregano.
well, if I don't have jalapenos, I'll
I'll
still eat it without the jalapenos. But what I'm saying is, like, I thought when you say
No, okay.
seasoning, I'm thinking dressing.
It's-
I
Yeah.
don't usually use dressing, man.
yeah, I got you.
Do you use like salt, pepper, or something? Like
Nada. Sometimes hot.
Nada.
Maybe I'll use hot sauce if I have
Hold
it.
up. That
That's about
deserves this.
dang.
Chuleta?
I hope you have more sound bites than that.
That's all I got for today.
Dang, that's like a tease.
Yeah, now we're gonna get blocked because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, we're
That's
good.
right.
We're good. Chuletas are good. They should know.
Chuletas.
All right, Gil.
Good.
Church, bro.
So for me today, we're still going over First Peter, but you know he was just going more in depth in that scripture, and it's just funny to me because the things that we're coming across in CHH, and that's going to be a later, as we go on the show.
Oh man,
we're gonna get into.
And wait, and we do have stuff we're gonna talk about too.
Oh yeah,
I think this is a first for Shane actually.
Oh,
what first for
Shane is gonna hear about all the stuff that was happening this week. But go ahead.
Oh
go ahead.
yeah. But so the scripture is 1 Peter 2. So put away all malice, all
Praying all
deceit,
quietly in the mic.
and hypocrisy, and envy, and all slander. You hear that, Mario?
Yeah, that's our. No. Yeah,
I'll reread it. So put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander. So that first line stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Especially with what's been going on.
Oh, I
everything,
got you.
You know what I'm saying? So that hit me hard. And then as I keep going, like newborn infants long for the pure spiritual milk, that by it you may grow up into salvation. Indeed, you have tasted that the Lord is good. So that hit me because, first off, like,
this is such a cop-out, right?
Why is it a cop-out?
He's like, these are the verses we read.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying. I'm like, so what'd you learn? Oh, yeah, we went through these
I'm
verses.
about to say what I learned.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So I mean, this is just like in regards to our walk, like how we should walk and stuff like that. But it's just weird because of what we've been experiencing this week and the disconnection in CHH and all the things that have been happening. It actually fell into a lot of the stuff that this scripture is saying not to do,
right?
To put away all these things. So it just made me more in tune and more aware, like we as Christians really need to walk as closely to this as possible, because it's the only way not only can this genre grow, but we as believers in Christ can grow. If we're still holding on to these things and still acting in these ways, even if it's slightly, it's going to hinder our own growth. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's even surpassed my whole thought of growing CHH. It's like, damn, I can't even grow if I hold on to these things. Yeah. How can I push a genre, or how can I talk about a genre that I want to build if I'm not fully built? You know what I mean? It just made me reflect in myself and the things that I need to work on and stuff like that. Because I mean, we ain't perfect. We all fall short. And anybody who responds with I'm good immediately after you say how you doing needs to really check themselves.
Before they riggedy wreck themselves. What? Shane just stays consistent.
That's right.
Like I just said the most profound thing ever. After riggedy wreck. Preach it, brother. You got him there.
Come on, man. You got him there. Yeah.
They're there now. Pick yourself up and try again. Come on.
Come on, man.
Oh.
Get out.
Yes, that was a Shane impersonation. At least the best one I have.
That's foul.
Oh,
that's
brother.
So foul.
What is wrong with you? Gee Willikers.
I've never said that once in my life.
Get it. I'm kidding.
Gee Willikers. That is super foul.
Oh, man.
Yo, Shane,
I'm playing.
Get him, man. Come on.
I grew up in the hood, too.
Go ahead.
Gee Willikers, my dude.
Gee Willikers, my dude. So the other day, I'm going through my Instagram, all right?
Yeah.
And I come across, I don't even know why. I mean, I follow Mark Wahlberg. I guess he's one of those.
That's weird.
He's one of those celebrities. I guess
weird.
I follow. No, what do you mean? It's weird.
He wakes up at 2:30 a.m. every
He's
day
like
to
a
go to the
fitness
gym.
dude.
Mark Wahlberg.
What do you mean that's
That's true.
He goes to bed at like
he's a
7
fitness
p.m.
dude.
It's just because he hasn't been in anything in a while. That's why I was just like, that's weird. Because most of the dudes that you tell me you follow are like prominent people, like current people right now, like all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So Mark Wahlberg took me off guard a little bit. But go ahead, no, continue.
You follow Mark Wahlberg?
To be honest,
Pastor Shane?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I follow Ludacris.
Wu-Tang Clan.
No, I can't. I don't know if I follow him or not.
Well,
but I remember hearing about like how he gets up at like 2
he's a
a.m.
beast.
and goes to the gym, and then he'll do like some meditation time, and then have breakfast, and then do this, and he's like all done with those
so
things
what time
before
does he
7
go to
a.m.
sleep? At 3?
No, he apparently goes to bed at like 7 p.m.
That's crazy.
I wish.
That's
bro.
dedication.
I wish. My body doesn't. My body doesn't shut
That's
down
some
until
serious
11:30.
dedication.
Yo, so I see Mark Wahlberg, and he posted up a picture or a video of Drake with his head bowed down. I wish I would have had it ready, man. My bad, guys, man. There's a few things that we're trying to pick up, so I'll get that ready for the future ones. But I wanted to have the video pop up if you didn't see it. So Drake is there, head down, praying. And you can hear the like what he's saying, and he's like, bless the show, bless bless to help us go out there. And Mark Wahlberg, I know he's like an open professing Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's big on that. Like wasn't he with the Pope or something not too long ago? He did
I didn't see that, but
he's
he
like
goes,
big on like putting out his Catholicism stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was like Mark saying, "Oh, look at like with it, like condoning it." So I posted it. Like I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." I posted it and I shared it because I wanted to see the people's response from it. Mm-hmm. It was literally like I put a little thinking emoji, and I was like, I didn't want to bless it or curse it. I wanted to see what people would say, and the ones that I thought were gonna jump all over it stayed out of it. I think they knew that. I think they were like, "Okay, here goes Marrio again, fishing for something or whatever."
Always.
They didn't even touch it.
Mario dropping dynamite and then running.
Here we go. Here goes Mario again. Here goes my news feed. But they totally ignored it. They didn't bite. But then there was a bunch of them jumping in saying, "Amen." Oh, I knew Drake was something. I don't know. It was all these like
He wrote God's plan.
celebration, and you know what I'm saying. Last week I did a post about Chance the Rapper, who mentioned the image of Christ, like trying to be the image, and I posted that. I was like, "Oh, this is a pleasant surprise" or something like that. And the response, like the ones, I think they were able to discern. They were like, "Oh no, brother, what are you amening this?" And they all jumped on that one. They were like, "Whoa, rebuke him quick, check him quick." And I was just saying, there's a podcast I listened to. I wasn't expecting to hear something about Christ at all. So that's all I was saying. But
yeah.
I get the point with that. So my thing is, when we see this happening, celebrities, I'm saying, is it something that Christians should celebrate or condemn? That's my question, because I've seen different results from that.
I don't think it should be condemned, because I mean, if they're still speaking Christ, it's not going to go void, because even Paul mentioned that, like people who were preaching Christ with ill intent, he was like, the word of God is still being preached. I mean, they're still speaking Christ. So
hold on, I got a question. I got a question in regards to that, Shane.
Okay,
Shane. So he just said, what'd you say? Say it again.
I said that the word of God.
as long as Christ is being preached, you said.
Yeah.
So Shane,
I think it's in first.
Is this people that are actually proclaiming the gospel and not, false, preachers, preaching heresy, like fooling people? Like, is Paul referring to people that are actually preaching the gospel but with false intentions? Or is he referring to people that are just mentioning Christ, but they're completely heretical in their theology?
Well, I mean, let's think about that. I mean, I think that it could be...
Good question, no?
Yeah, it is a good question, because it could go either way.
It can be... Okay, so they're using it for ill intent, right? So, I mean, if they're using it for ill intent, then they, in many other ways, other beliefs that they do have could mean they are heretical, right? But, like, for example, right, a broken clock is right twice a day. So that broken clock will, at twice a day, will say the right time. So, like, someone who's preaching, the name of Jesus may be getting that specific aspect of the faith right, but everything else is jacked up, Gotcha. But
I believe that the Lord was drawing me when I was in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I mean, same here, man. I mean, at one point I was an altar boy. Like I did, rang the bell, carried the candle.
This guy had all kinds of walks of life. Altar boy, priest, pastor now.
No,
like,
man,
that's amazing.
I wasn't a priest. I was too young. But
I'm actually disappointed you don't have your white.
No. Go.
Oh man, yeah. But like,
oh man.
No, so, but like,
What
I
am I
think,
doing here?
You know what? That's the last time
What
I
am
come
I
to this
doing
show.
here?
I'm just gonna go now. No, so man, you just think about that. God could use anything. I mean, he spoke through a donkey, right?
Yeah.
I think, and so let's just think about this way: are there people who are saved and who are genuinely saved and are Bible-believing Christians that just so happen to be in a false heretical context?
Yeah.
You know, are there?
Yeah.
Are there people who are
course.
saved that go to? Can I say it?
What? What do you
Can I
mean?
drop names?
Drop names.
Do you think there are people who are saved that go to Joel Osteen's church?
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
How
so.
about that? Sit under the modalistic preaching of, by modalistic I mean in reference to the Trinity, which is not the Trinity of T.D. Jakes.
I believe.
And the
believe it.
Trinity is a key
That's
core
like
doctrine.
yeah.
They're still
right?
They still use the Bible in the church though, so I believe that people can be saved.
Exactly. So I mean, like, so in regards to Drake, like, who knows, like, whether or not God is using that instance for somebody,
True.
for somebody who's going through a tough time, who maybe never went through.
He's definitely going through a tough time.
Is that Drake?
Drake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
He's
those that
definitely
don't know.
going through a tough time
any
right now.
sort of, any sort of well,
Pray for Drake.
yeah, pray for Drake. But
Man,
anybody who might be following that and thinks like
don't push him.
either one,
I'm not trying to push it either. He needs some tea.
Oh.
who's Drake
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
needs teeth.
No.
Anyway, so people who they might be going through a tough time. They either might have never had any sort of exposure or background to Christianity
Yeah.
or the gospel, and yet they hear the word Jesus and like maybe they're at their wits' end and like, hey, what could be wrong? What it's worth a shot.
you know
and
what?
They research it. Or somebody who grew up in the
So
church.
then let me ask you this, because you're a Bieber fan, right? Justin Bieber.
believer. I'm a believer, bro.
I'm a believer.
Is that one of his followers?
Dude, even his comebacks are biblical.
Yeah. Oh god.
What the heck? It's like, you're a Bieber fan. No,
That
I am a
is just
believer.
ridiculous.
All right, I got it.
I'm a believer in Christ.
What do you think, Gil?
What do I think in regards
What
to
Shane is saying that
in regards to like the the ill intent, you know, versus
no. Going to what he's saying right now about Drake could be going through something and actually,
it's
praying in that
possible.
moment.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
Oh,
possible.
you had a point you wanted to finish.
No. What I'm saying is like I didn't know you were talking about specifically. Were you asking was Drake? Do I think Drake was being genuine, or what do I think about people who
No, yeah,
don't
I mean,
live the lifestyle?
I'm not-
Are putting
you know
it
what?
on display.
You know what? We can't honestly judge anything because except for the fruit that they bear, right?
Yeah.
No, of course, and that's why.
But even then, like, we don't know how long certain albums were. Like, we don't know the specifics of the person's life.
No, of course,
You know what I mean? So they could be genuine,
Yeah.
going through their thing,
Yeah.
but I guess the balance is like not to celebrate it as in, it's automatic acceptance of brother in Christ.
Yeah.
And we can't automatically condemn it because that's Drake.
Yeah, I guess I asked that because in my case when I was saying I was referencing more of like that video gets posted and a viewer sees Drake do that.
Right. Okay.
Going through that tough time.
Right.
So when you ask Gil whether or not, like if Drake was going through that tough time, that's why I was like, wait a minute, did I misunderstand the question? So
He's like, we talking about Jake. No, go ahead.
State
So-
Farm? From State Farm?
But but that's it, man. I think that God is so sovereign, he could literally use anything.
Yeah.
I think that there will be people in heaven that one day you'll be like, that's how God used you? Yeah, that's what God used to draw you unto him? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I say that now.
I mean, yeah.
I say that now. Like
Yeah.
before we started doing this type of dialogue, we had people doing interviews, and each story was crazy, right, Mario?
Yeah.
Each story was completely
Yeah.
different, like on
Yeah.
how they came to faith.
Yeah.
Actually,
And-
that's one of the reasons why one of our listeners really enjoyed the show, to hear everyone's story.
Yeah, because that was like one of the questions, like, how did you become Christian? Like, how did God draw you? And their stories was nuts. Like, and we only had like 3 or 4 people that we interviewed, and their stories was nuts compared to each other.
Yeah. So like there's a student in the college, right, in the college ministry, and his story, it's not long, but it's crazy, man. Like, he's a freshman right now at Roger Williams, and here's how the Lord drew him. He was always looking into, like, you know, you go down the rabbit trails with YouTube videos, you start looking at, I mean, I'll just say it, some things are not conspiracy theories, but he was looking up videos like that. Oh, here comes the looks. But check it, bro, right?
Tinfoil. Someone get the
Hold on, I
tinfoil.
brought my helmet today. So
Sammy!
here's what happened. Though.
Tinfoil.
Like, he
Is
started
the earth
realizing
flat?
that he started realizing all the legitimate evil in the world, and how there are people out there who do. There are Satanists out there, right, who worship. And so he's sitting there and he's thinking, well, if there's evil and there's a Satan, then there must be good, and there must be a God. And I would rather be on God's side.
There you go.
And so he started researching the Bible
Nice.
and realized, like, I'm a sinner and I need Jesus.
That's a crazy
And he
story.
repented, he put his faith in Christ. And this, like, I meet up with him every week, man. He's just like he's like hungry for the Bible. That's him literally chewing on the Bible. You know what I'm saying, man? We get together.
He has the Bible in his mouth. He's
Bro,
like,
like, we have sushi.
You're
once
looking
a
at the
week.
window in Shade's apartment, the two of them. Like, what is
that would
going
just
on
be-
up in
that's-
there,
yeah,
man?
that's messed up.
I thought he
It's
was
like
smart
Bible
because he
study.
actually read the Bible. This dude is eating it. He took that scripture way too serious.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that's God can literally use anything, man.
Yeah.
Literally use anything.
Yep. And now, I promise, man, I did not mean to do this, but I'm looking at the doc now.
Yeah.
And I promise I did not mean to do this. But I had something in here because this is, I guess, a trending topic. Pusha T.
Yeah.
All right. So Pusha T ends up on the Budden show, starts leaking out all this information about Drake. And for those that are following hip hop, they're going at it. If you're a fan of hip hop, you're gonna hear about it. Like, I'm in circles with all different kinds of hip hop heads. So of course I'm gonna hear about it. Plus, I like following the Budden show just to hear, like, how he puts his show together. Like, I'm really inspired by the way that he cultivated his fan base and everything like that. I like it. So anyway, so I was listening to it, and then so I was looking at the situation. Here's Pusha T blabbing out all this stuff, obviously against his opponent, because he believes that there's no rules in war, no rules. Yeah. So he's out to completely destroy his opponent, and he says, to him it's all a game, it's all rap. And then I go online, I check out my news feed, and I see a bunch of believers like myself who's informed on what's going on, and they're kind of like throwing it out there, like, oh snap, like, everyone's going crazy over it, even believers. And then I guess my question is, like, what are your thoughts on people like celebrating this part of hip hop or this part of entertainment? Is that, like, would we have a problem with hip hop artists going at it in competition with rhymes over a beat? Would that be compared to the way our football teams on a football field, go up against each other, and we're celebrating these guys smashing their heads into each other, tackling each other? It's a contact sport,
and some of them,
it's very
sometimes
aggressive.
they even fight.
And or boxing,
UFC,
or boxing and UFC.
It's almost like modern day gladiators.
That's what I'm saying. So,
No, but
weapons.
and the reason why I mention that is because something like football is not meant for fighting. It's a contact sport, but it's meant to be played. It's not fought. Where boxing, and there are fighting.
But even that.
But the fact that they're going out of order and they're fighting, and you see all types of people rooting it, like, yo, that's crazy, or the next day, like, yo, did you see that fight and in that game yesterday? Yeah. It's not something that's normal. You know what I mean? You're not gonna say the same thing when you talk about a boxing fight. It was a fight, so unless it was a crazy fight.
Like,
but the fact is that
cage.
it's being put out there and celebrated. So the parallels between that is interesting. And for me, my perspective is it's a sport. You know what I mean? Like, these guys, I don't agree in the content, obviously, because I'm a believer. So what they're talking about and the things that they say and how they destroy their opponent, I'm not in agreement with that. But the art form on how they put their words together, and the articulation and how they formulate these thoughts and are able to say them in a controlled way is super impressive. It's legit like
you
seeing
think-
two boxers fight. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? When you see that and you see the moves and the
Yeah.
training and that punch comes in and they just ever so slightly duck and they're able to come in with the jab, you're like, that's impressive.
Do you think that when Pusha T is on the show and he's saying all this, blabbing all this stuff,
Yeah.
do you think that's like for them, it's like the boxers who see each other before they fight and they try to get into each other's
Yeah, it's
psyche
all psychological.
before they get in the ring, which is the diss track you know, that they put out?
I mean, if anybody's familiar with rap battles, now it's become a full-edged show. Like, it's not just two rappers coming out to spit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I saw one, I don't want to mention names because it's irrelevant, but there was one, and I know you're going to know.
It's so funny.
You're gonna know as soon as I
Tread
say
carefully, we're live.
it. No, it's not even about
There's no
treading
pre-cuts.
carefully.
I feel you. Like, I'm like,
There's no
what
10
can
second
I,
delay.
But
this is live. Too late.
I mean, I'll be real.
It's
I
out
don't
there.
even remember the names. I'll just be real. But to be honest, the dude that came out with the casket, remember? You remember? He came out with a suit, like if it was a funeral.
Oh yeah. And they went at battle rap.
That's what I'm saying. Like battle rap. Like even the battle raps now are not
Round.
just two guys coming out and just rapping. Like now it's a show. Like they come out with props now.
Yeah.
And it's all psychological. They trying to get in the dude's head. When the dude came out with a casket, I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
With his
he
whole
was
crew.
like a few, like the chicks were like in dresses.
Yeah, they were dressed in a funeral
veils and
attire.
all that.
I'm like, this is
They brought
over the top.
casket.
The fact that it's
Yeah.
like on a stage and back in the day it was
Crazy.
like on the street corner. Right?
Yeah,
Seriously,
true.
it's evolved
Yeah.
to now it's a full-on show where they have like music, stage, speakers. Like,
But now let's bring it back to focus. So how do you feel about Christians taking on that type of style and then applying it within our realm? So now we're like,
so you're dissing each other?
yeah,
Like in rap,
yeah.
like music.
Well, I know of one battle, Shane. I don't know if you know of any other, but I know of one Christian battle that I know of.
You're right.
That's Ruslan and
Yep.
Tony.
Oh.
Tony and Ruslan went
Yeah.
at it. Actually, Shylin dropped an album addressing Christian hip hop, wasn't it?
And Reach.
Or was it?
Yeah, he addressed.
Yeah,
Reach.
and then he.
But in all
But
fairness,
he went to them. He showed
went to
love to
them,
them.
and
He
told them he
extended
was
love.
releasing this project.
So
and-
it wasn't like beef.
Yeah.
But then Ruslan got upset on his end.
yeah. And
Is that how you say it, Ruslan? Am I saying that right?
Ruslan, yeah.
Okay. So
And
Ruslan,
then he came at
and then he
Shylin.
came at Shy, and then Tony was, Tony Lamp mode. Tony was like, boom, he went. I personally had an issue with it at first. I personally had an issue
With who?
At first.
at first.
So this is gonna go somewhere.
At first, because Tony was mixed. Actually, I think he was in the process of mixing and mastering my album at around that time.
Yeah, he was.
And then Ruslan does this, and then Tony came back at him, and I was like, hold on a sec. Like, at the time, the way that I was thinking was, yo, what? This is silly. Why are they doing this? This is silly. What are we doing? And then I got upset. I contacted Tony, and then Tony expressed the whole thing to me. He's like, bro, I used to battle rap. Ruslan knows me. Like, we used to, it's all in fun. It's all in fun, da-da-da-da. But it's a good way to let some serious off in a joking way, but in an entertaining way, like a friendly sport,
Yeah.
right? That's how he made it seem like a friendly sport. And then I was like, oh, okay, like I can get that, And I was like, oh, okay, and I told him, my concerns or whatever, and that was it. But what do you feel about that? Like initially I was like, nah. And now I'm like, I guess if it's like not in the way of the world where you're like, I'm gonna go pay someone $500,000 to tell me his secrets, like that's
Like,
crazy.
and not only that, I don't think
because that happened, Shane. I don't know if you know or not, but that
I believe it.
actually happened. Somebody's dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars, asking
close
friends, close
people, associates.
people associated with them for information.
Like imagine
That's crazy.
Someone contacting you and saying, "We'll wire you right now $500,000 to give me anything you have on Marrio." Like, and it's real. Like, it's a real company, it's real money. They're like, we'll wire it right now if you can give us something good about Marrio. $500,000 will be.
I don't think it was 500.
I think it was like 300.
It was like 100. It was 100,000.
even $100,000 is
I know.
ridiculous. It's still what $100,000 to give me any information. It's just information, so you can literally be like, I heard Mario, did this. $100,000, boom, right there for you. Like, that is crazy. So my thoughts on it is, like, as Christians, we shouldn't be tearing each other down. So that's my thing. If you do if you spoke to this person and look, like, I'm gonna do this song addressing this issue, I am gonna mention you, but this is about it. It's a broader issue, But I am gonna mention you. You know what I mean? You're being respectful and you're addressing something and you're addressing someone and they're aware of it and stuff like that. Like, I think there should be some kind of mutual respect because we're Christian. I don't think we should just be putting out tracks, like putting people out there and destroying their character, because that's what battle rap is completely destroy the character of your opponent. Like, belittle them as much as possible. And as Christians, how do we do that? Like, how can we justify that and completely smash someone and walk away like, yeah, I got him? Like, how could you feel good about that?
Wow. You know what? If you want to address something that you have an issue with, I guess you could do a track that you're addressing.
That's what I'm saying. That's almost like
Shy did that with false teachers.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're addressing an issue, then it's not bad. But you're not taking the person's character and shredding it to pieces.
So you're like going after this one guy, like completely annihilate this guy.
Yeah,
wipe him
like
off the mat.
just completely belittle him to nothing. Like,
I mean,
I don't think that's
you take that with
loving.
No, exactly. I mean, you take that with even conversations you may have with somebody who, I mean, I'm talking more from like a doctrinal perspective, but like when you talk with somebody who has different theological distinctives than you, I think the best motive when it comes to anything like that, when you're having a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you, the best posture is to want to win the person rather than win the argument.
Yo,
because if you don't,
that's bugged out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because like if you try and win the argument, man, you'll do that at all costs. And if you try and win the person, you'll do it at all costs as well. But I mean, it takes
the outcome will be better.
It takes a different approach.
Yo, okay, I'm gonna tell you something, Shane. Actually, this is probably a great segue. This is a great segue. Actually, we could flip it. Can we flip it? Can we flip it to the next point, or we good with there?
No.
This is like a great segue.
Yeah. It's super good, actually.
This happened this week. I was just, all right, how do I want to get in? All right, so the discussion that we want to talk about is OGs, specifically within CHH. I've been trying to, now with the show and addressing certain concerns that I see in CHH. For those that know me and follow me, I'm sure you've seen some posts that stirs a few people up. And at first it was like people saying, what's your beef with, Wrath and Grace, or what? They were just assuming certain things, so I had to adjust the way that I tackle this thing. And then I almost had not a full fallout, but I definitely almost caused some division. But the Lord repaired that relationship and brought clarity to me about the topic of CHH. So what I realize is that there are some artists and creatives that fully embrace the title for what it's supposed to represent, while others are using it in a way that's really upsetting me, and I'm addressing those things, So the whole thing now, like this week, I started thinking it was actually, I don't know if I should say his name. I won't say his name, but you know him. He actually hit me up. He said, yo, bro, and I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to come on and say it. Bro, you need to interview Fnatic. This is where the thought of OGs came from. Yeah. Bro, you need to interview Fnatic from Cross Movement. And I told him no. I said, nah, man, I'm not going to try to interview Fnatic. And he's like, why? You got to interview Fnatic. And I thought to myself, I was like, bro, because I kind of blame Fnatic. I kind of blame Cross Movement for what's happening. And he was defending them, like 100% defending them. And I was just in my feelings at that moment, upset, because it's not them that I'm upset with, but the story will unfold.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that point, but it's not them at that moment. It wasn't like it's their fault. It was just like, nah, like no one's speaking up. They haven't, I haven't seen them speaking up about the issues I'm talking about, the areas of concern within CHH that anyone involved with it probably has a story to share, right? Like if we're honest with each other.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, man, I'm not, I feel like he's an OG, and he hasn't addressed these things or whatever. And Brent, what up, Brent? I love you. Sorry, I got into the story.
Mario is a safe. He is a safe of
Brent,
knowledge,
I love you, bro. So he's defending him to the. It's not even a bad thing anyway. The dude loves CHH, man, and he's giving me real wisdom. Matter of fact, it comes full circle. The story comes full circle, but I gotta tell it. I gotta unfold it. So he's still telling me, bro, he's an OG. Da 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 da. He understood where I was coming from, like why I felt the way I felt, but he was like, you got to reach out to him, man. So I did. I reached out to him. And nothing happened. So I was like, and I'm not going to be upset. Like, you don't answer to me. He probably doesn't even check his messages like that. He probably gets blown up messages all the time. So I'm not feeling that way. But I'm like, yo, I'm trying. Because he's not the only one that I tried to reach out to. So I'm sending people messages like out of respect and also to make sure that people are checking my motives and get some wisdom.
Yeah, you were seeking wise counsel.
I wanted to seek wise counsel, and not just through my pastors, because I wanted people that were in the faith and also involved with the culture and the genre.
Yeah.
So one of the people I spoke to was Kirk Kennedy.
Okay.
Voice. And
AKA Voice,
man. And yo, God bless him, man. He's
a MC of that conference, right? Wasn't the MC of the conference?
Which one? The Wrath and Grace?
Yeah.
The first one?
This past year.
I didn't go.
I
wasn't. I didn't get the invite. Present. No, I love them. Man. He was, by the way. Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to he didn't get the red carpet.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to him, man. I love that brother. And he's a pastor, and he told me, he heard me out, and he just gave me a lot of encouragement in just being redemptive with my approach. Like that is what he was telling me. He was like, the outcome needs to be about redemption. The outcome isn't that you're trying to destroy and break down and annihilate and the people I'm talking about. Because it's definitely a part of the culture or the genre that needs to die for sure.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not taking away from that.
But it was an interesting point to also keep that in mind, that as we approach this in this way, that we should also keep in mind that we're trying to redeem.
Right.
Our thoughts should never forget that we are trying to redeem something. Like it's not just destroy and conquer.
Yeah, I mean, I think about this. I mean, kind of like here I go again, but
go ahead, man.
I think about this, man. Like, you ever think about the way the church responds to when someone falls into sin? Right.
Right.
You ever think about that? How like people get very loud, they get very they start like all of a sudden everyone forgets the same grace that was given to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what I say this to say that as pastors or those who have influence, I'll use those two, right? As those who have influence, but specifically in the church, there are ways in which a pastor can handle sin or handling someone falling or handling a situation, especially when there's danger, that does not startle the whole flock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it builds. It keeps those who don't need to be startled safe and protected, but also helps build up the one who needs that building and all that.
Wow,
you know what I'm
Shane.
saying?
That's powerful, man.
So it's like that. It just jumped into my mind when you said that, man.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
doing it in such
that
a
was
way.
That was the part that I was struggling with, because I see this thing, right, that needs to be addressed. It's an idol to me. It's an idol that needs to be shattered. So I see this thing, and when I move against it, the people become active. When I move against this idol, it's almost like, if you want to separate, it's like this thing that they lifted up to worship, and I'm running toward that thing to smash that thing while they're in the middle of the crowd here. And now they're rising up to protect that thing. And now my temptation at this point is like, what, you in the way? Like, I'm like, hold up, because I want to smash the idol, but then there's people involved. There's people in the way. And then they rise up to guard and protect their idol. And that's when I'm like, yo, you in the way. And then my natural response is, I'm a bull, man. And I see that, I see that red, cape hanging. Don't get in my way. Like, I'm going for it. And what Kirk Kennedy was saying was like, bro, like, you have to, it's about redemption. Think about the individuals that are there. So that's the tough part that I'm trying to navigate through that. And one of the things he mentioned was simplify and biblical.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that this is something like, I'm you talking about this large idol? I'm just picturing like this massive statue and people are like around it, right?
Yeah.
But like, do you think that something like this, the way in which it needs to be dismantled, is more like boom, brash, like explosion, like everything? It's almost like a needed chaos, and then it settles and you rebuild, or is it more like dismantling a skyscraper in the middle of a busy, like, metropolitan area where it gets taken down piece by piece, making sure that nothing falls on those who are driving by, right? Or even think about it this way: there are, even when you do demolitions on large buildings, right? That's destructive.
Yeah, right.
But it's done in such a way where it doesn't harm anyone, so they're clearing the way.
Right.
They're like evacuating people around. They're like making sure people are within safe distance.
You know what? I'll say this. I think all of those approaches are necessary. So I see each problem that needs to be addressed as its own building. So some are stronger than others.
That's a good point.
Some are stronger than others.
It wouldn't all fall into just one building.
No.
Like, in the way this is.
No, this is a city, man. We're not looking at a building. We're looking at a city.
Yeah.
And some are being built. Track stars. Shout out to Track Stars. Some are being built, and I'm looking at the ones that are being built. Shout out to Path of Revelation.
Gabriel Parker,
who just started a podcast. He's on his second episode right now. Actually, Gabe is another one that I interacted with this week, and he's another one who told me some information I'm not gonna say that. I'm not in the place to share that information, but I'm here. It's funny, in God's providence, man. In God's providence. It's crazy though, because I was gearing up. My bad. I was gearing up to address OGs, because that's our segment, OGs. Like, who are the OGs? Are they needed? Like, that's what I wanted to address, and I was gearing up to sort of like, voice my concerns with the current OGs, if we even have any. Like, who would be considered the OGs right now, CHH?
Are you asking me, or
who would be considered, like Shane? Like,
are you asking who are OGs of CHH, or who are the OGs who are still in CHH?
Oh, see, you see how he's doing that? So you see how he's doing that?
It's true.
Okay, yeah. Who are the OGs that are still in CHH right now?
I mean, just thinking about like some of the most that I can think of who just recently, probably within the last 2 years, dropped an album is the Ambassador. Right? Deuce. William Deuce Branch. I know he teaches. He's a pastor, but he also teaches at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. He teaches preaching over there. But I know he just dropped an album, I think, within the past 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Isn't Shy working on something like like in the background, kind of.
Yeah.
I heard something.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, he did a. Didn't you? Wasn't you?
no,
that told me he did a.
no, he
children's
released
project?
Oh, he did. He wrote
but
a
he's
book.
working on something, right?
He's working on something. I think that like.
So
now
you,
he's on
wait.
Pastoral
So
Ministry.
you consider Shailin as a OG, a CHH?
I mean, when I became a Christian, I mean, I was really first exposed to Lecrae and Reach, and then when I was
So
exposed,
Lecrae's a OG of CHH.
Maybe. I mean, I think it depends on what generation you're in, right? But I think when I think of OG, I think of like Cross Movement, and those are involved. I know the Ambassador was, but like
Ambassador.
I remember
Fnatic.
My first exposure to CHH was at Acquire the Fire in
Acquire the Fire.
Bro, UMass Amherst, and Cross Movement was there. That was the first one. I was like, "What is going on?" Because I was like I wasn't even a Christian. I was just going,
Yeah.
But that was my first experience. So I think them. I was introduced to Lecrae when it was already the Rebel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I had to like grow to like stuff from after the music stops and Real Talk and I think they gave up on Real Talk because they discontinued it. But but.
And what do you think? Like, if we look at CHH right now,
Yeah.
in the current state that it's in right now, a lot of complaints, pain, arguments, disagreements, division. Wouldn't you think that the OGs are responsible for the condition that it's in? Because for me, like, I'm not saying either one. I just want us to think, right? I just want to provoke thought. That's all I want to do. For me, the OG is not the only one who runs the block. Like, he runs that block or two or whatever, but he's the shot caller. He's the mediator. He's the one that squashes beef. He's the uncle figure, the father figure, the one you go to voice all your concerns. And he's responsible. The OGs are responsible for what happens on that block. Matter of fact, I got stories. I'm not gonna just glorify them, but they have so much influence in certain places that the police will go to the OG and tell the OG, handle your block. Even the authority figures knew that they had a better chance of getting this whole block to comply with the OG.
Yeah. But the thing is,
so do you feel like in that aspect, when we say OGs, do you feel that they are kind of responsible for the current state?
It's a tough one because if we're relating it to that, the OGs that you're referring to about, them running the block and being shot callers, they're still technically involved and they never stopped, even though they're not heavily involved anymore themselves personally. They're now more on the management side of things. They're still in it. Like, they never left. They still have their stamp and they're still active in that stamp.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about the OGs of CHH, there has not been any activity with them. Like, they haven't stayed. Well, not all of them. There's a select.
So the question is, should they be like accountable to that or not? That's the question.
I say yes
Shane
and no.
something.
Those that are still involved,
Okay.
yes, should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're still in it. But those that aren't, the ones that kind of just fell off and not really producing anymore, I don't think it's their responsibility because they walked away from it. They're not really producing
They're not
any music.
active in it. They're out of it.
Yeah, they're out of it. But if you're still associated, like you said, Ambassador still releasing stuff, you know what I mean, and a few others, those guys, if they were here when the CHH first started. So to see all this negativity being brought up and all these different issues and artists, new artists coming up complaining about things that they're encountering, I have to say, I think the OGs should step in and
Intervene,
mediate,
assist,
and be a part of
guide
the solution.
Shane?
Well, I was just gonna pose the question, like, what what are the OGs? What would be the OGs' responsibilities? I know you mentioned about the block and whatnot in that analogy.
Yeah, okay.
But what I'm saying is
in
like
music.
yeah, in music, right? So like Gil mentioned for those who are still in CHH, they have a responsibility to talk and to, in a sense, disciple in the way of the
right.
of the
I love
industry,
that.
right?
And hold accountable.
But
I love that.
But here's one of those things, I guess, and it might not come out the way I'm thinking of it in my head, but excuse me. So, do you think that? Do you think it's a way in which? Do you think that the OGs have either one, completely dropped off, or two, haven't fully handed the baton over, or three, handed the baton over to people who weren't ready, and they weren't built up enough to carry it in the right way? Or do you think that they're also, like you said, like the OG is like that uncle figure, that father figure, who in this case is, you know, even if they were going to say things, they know the stubbornness of their nephew or their child, and they're just like, you know, letting them do their thing. And
I would say
learn
this.
their own lessons.
I would say this to all those 15 and under. If I'm still alive when y'all are like in your 30s, I'm looking out for every single one of y'all, bro. I'll say that. My whole desire is for y'all to flourish, for y'all to skip all the nonsense, the lies, the facades, the fake stuff. I'm here to be the voice. I desire so much for it to grow and become something big. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. I want to now go back to Shane and answer the question. Shane, at first, I thought all of the above that you just said. Mm-hmm. I thought some of them walked out, because you're talking about a multitude, right? So they all did different things. Mm-hmm. So some of them bowed out and just left, and some of them remained and never addressed anything because they didn't find anyone to pass it, and they're still holding on to it. Some of them passed it, and some of them they couldn't affect the way that artist was moving. They couldn't affect him. He wasn't listening. He went off and he did his thing. Mm-hmm. So I think it's all of the above. However, what I haven't been seeing is active discipleship or active communication within the genre. Active accountability, I haven't seen it. Yeah. Almost feeling like I'm on a ship by myself. Almost feeling like I'm going to war, just me by myself on my lonesome. Like, well, it is what it is. I'll take the hits. Yeah. So, but however, that I'm unfolding something, because it's not the case. So Gabe reaches out to me. He sees a post that I put up, and I'm basically saying, where are the grown men to speak up for those that are done wrong, for those that are robbed, for those that are have walked away? Like, is there anybody chasing after these individuals? Like, is there like, I just don't see a lot of activity, you know, as a body moving together. You're gonna need batteries in that, bro. Gil, you want to text my wife, tell her we need AA batteries. My bad. So Gabe reached out to me and he said, hey brother, listen, there are people, OGs, that are very well aware of the current state of CHH, and they're properly gearing up behind the scenes to begin addressing these issues. And I'm talking about not one guy, not two. Like, there's a group.
Yeah. So I kind of like, that kind of just shatters my question, because I was going to say, like, do you think, what I was going to ask, and what was, one, do you think that they're just being silent right now, but they're working on stuff in behind the scenes? Or two, do you think that their silence is a way of, in a sense, speaking up by allowing it to almost in a way dismantle itself and then come in and say something?
Well, the Lord's timing is perfect because I was feeling
Amen.
a certain kind of way. And then I was gearing up. And I talked to a few. I did a shout out to R. Swift. I love you, brother.
That's right.
He's serving, man, faithfully serving straight in some grimy areas, man. But he's out there serving. Pray for him because he's going in places most of us wouldn't even want to be around, and he's in there in the trenches. So, I mean, you definitely pray for him. When you have people going overseas, it's like, yes, that's a godly thing, but you have to remember there's some ugly places within this country as well. It's not just like everyone thinks overseas, like, oh man, like that's crazy. No, there's some crazy places here too. So we got to think of the people that are evangelizing in very dangerous areas and sharing the word in those areas. So R. Swift was very encouraging. He gave me a lot of insight out of respect for the OGs. You know, I'm hitting them up, and so far, man, it's been a blessing, and it unfolded. As I'm continue to unfold this, like it's just like reassuring me that I'm not alone, that there are people that are aware of it and they're gearing up to attack the same thing. People are feeling the same way. People are thinking the same way. Matter of fact, I had somebody hit me up today saying he didn't think that way, but because of shows like this and people that he's been talking to, he's saying, hey man, you might be onto something. Keep going.
Dope.
Because a normal person doesn't think that way, you know?
Yeah.
They want to silence everybody, you know? They want to be like, you know, they want to paint me out to be a disgruntled rapper who wasn't covered and he's just, he wasn't covered. You know, that's what they're trying to paint out. But there are real issues. I'm not trying to tackle one person. Like, I'm not tackling one person.
Or one organization.
It's just the idolizing of this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy, man. The OGs they're gearing up to address it.
Yeah, that was really cool of him to speak with you and hear you out. You know what I mean? And also give you feedback and be part of like a coach in a sense. You know what I mean? And on how we tackle this and how the direction and how we approach it. You know what I mean? Because
we got to remember it's redemptive. It's easy to get in your feelings.
Yeah, it's super easy to get in your feelings, especially when.
And that's silly, man. Because imagine that. Imagine like there was battle like that happening. Like,
yeah, it
just destroy your opponent.
It can get real ugly, and we can only say, you know, how God is just so sovereign in everything he does.
Yeah.
Because he didn't allow us to be in our feelings or be in our flesh, and he reeled us in and gave us facts.
Yeah.
Like that to me was the biggest thing for me this week, is that we got facts.
Yeah.
And validation and encouragement. You know what I mean? Like it was beautiful.
Yo, you know what though? But this goes for both the young guys and the older ones within the genre. The older heads, if you get out, like if I was just like, I'm done and I don't want nothing to do with it, I'm with my family, I have the right to do that. Like you know, I could just bounce. If you still have a passion for it and you're still like enjoying hip hop, a fan of hip hop, and you have an influence and people are coming to you for guidance or advice or whatever and how to balance, you know, this hip hop thing with a Christian walk, I think that you have a responsibility to speak up and to come alongside and to encourage and to uplift and to guide along the way. And to, we always quick to say everything that's happened in the church is spilling over. I get that, but it's going to take an effort of everybody addressing all these different areas in order for it to pick up all round.
Yeah.
In every area. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not responsible for everybody's church, but if I'm in CHH and I'm seeing an issue and I'm in this thing and I love Christ and I love hip hop and I see a community and I see things that are wrong and you're wearing a Christian flag and you're saying you're a Christian, you're claiming that, and then you're moving in a way that is not Christ-like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that. Nowhere near it. Trust me, I got checked a few times. But my brothers hold me accountable.
You would hope that if you got in your flesh, somebody will come and correct you. You would hope the same.
It's tough. I mean, I know I can sense it in them when they check me. You know how many times I sat down and had to FaceTime Wrath and Grace? When I say Wrath and Grace, I mean like it's a whole board in front of me. I'm like, hey guys, looking like a Brady Bunch, and they're like, get him. No,
that's when you go the bump bottom bump.
No, my brothers at Wrath and Grace, I love you to death. But no, real talk, man.
Brandon, that was for you. Bump bottom bump.
But my point with that is that they were loving enough and kind enough to, in that moment, even though it was uncomfortable or difficult, to say, tell me to check my motives. Yo, brother, check your motives. You know, you talking like this, da, da, da. We need that, not just within our own circles, but within the whole space, because some of us are coming in, like how you know somebody jumps in from a whole nother state and they're just a face on Facebook. They're just a face on social media, not submitted to a local church, doesn't care, hardly reads his Bible, but is claiming CHH. How do we know?
Yeah, we don't know.
You know what I mean? Like how can we ever know? So like, I'm not saying that the OGs needs to be responsible for that guy. No, I'm just saying some sort of organization within this thing, like some sort of thing that represents the community. Anybody who claims it, like, you know, we represent this whole community. I'm not saying it's some ridiculous thought. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Some kind of
almost like a kind of,
I don't know. I'm just off the cuff. I don't have this written down. Like,
I see what you're saying. Almost like a guideline. Like, you know what I mean? If you are going to be a part of CHH, you should have some sort of, like, you know, for lack of a better word, like a checklist. You know what I mean? Like a 9 marks type thing.
Oh yeah,
you know?
word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are you in a church? Are you?
Yo, but what about the things?
What things? Like a checklist, almost.
You know. That thing.
I don't know if you're writing or DJing. You know that thing.
So not rules and regulations, but a statement, like a mission statement for everybody that's involved.
Yeah.
So there's accountability.
Like, I see what you're saying.
Like, now, I'm not saying like these are the rules and you got to follow the rules, and now we capitalize and monopolize on that thing. Now,
you're talking about like the Westminster Statement of Faith or something like that?
Bam, bro. Yes, like something that everybody comes in and like we all agree, like this is how it's gonna be. That, or you know, that's something unified. Like when we say unified, let's be unified then. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
You're saying like there's the Chicago Statement of Inerrancy for Scripture in the Bible. Have like a Worcester Statement of Christianity.
Yo, every state, like every you know what I mean.
I think it would be dope because I mean, then.
Okay,
it truly does push the whole genre into a community, because not everybody keeps each other accountable. There's this guideline that we are to adhere to. You know, there won't be any possibility of a artist being an artist in CHH and not being part of a church. You know, and not doing at least the basic things that all Christians at least should adhere to biblically, but yet walk as a Christian. Like that, I feel like that's true. Like that should be addressed. Are you straight calling someone right now?
No, keep talking, man.
Oh, this dude is straight calling somebody.
Run the show, man. Run the show.
So, like, do you feel like that would be beneficial? Or
I mean, coffee and 2 AA batteries, please?
It could be
2 coffees.
3 coffees.
Thank you. I love
3 coffees.
3 coffees. I love you. Yes, please. I love you.
So,
oh, did he just kiss and say whoop whoop?
Okay, so
whoop whoop.
Commercial break is over. Now that that's done.
Okay, I hope you guys heard that. Whoop whoop. I'm gonna have to do that to my wife.
So the difficult part obviously is gonna be doctrines, things like that. You know, I'm not like I think that is important for more tight like groups, like, you know, within this area, like we all get together. I think that's cool. That's important. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah. But I think more so on just accountability in general, like open accountability. Like, oh, you know, when somebody says something, like we all go to the source to figure out, to mediate.
Yeah.
The OGs like speak on these things, you know, and then mediate, and then we all respect show that respect. For the young guys coming in, it's important to know, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to, in the multitude of many, there's wisdom. So you go to your older guys that's been through, did tours and they've been around. I mean, that's a whole subject in itself. Touring. What if you're married and you have children and now you're a full-time, artist, recording artist, and you're going on tour? That's a whole nother, discussion. Things like that, like just all kinds of things, business and everything, like come alongside each other and help each other, rise up together. And then the OGs have that responsibility. The young ones should respect that, because we're not like the culture where we divide these two.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think that as of like right now, right? Because you're talking about how the OGs like helping build people up and like teaching the young guns.
I think that's off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
No,
You guys can hear Shane? I don't think I can hear you. I don't think I can hear you, bro. Yeah.
Go ahead, say something, bro.
It's the lights on.
Yeah, but it's not reading.
Is it not reading from the
Nah.
receiver? All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna let you take this.
all right. Oh.
Go ahead, go keep talking.
The price is wrong.
That was a clip in the mic.
Oh, clip again. Hold your ears.
Oops, sorry guys. So go ahead, ask a question.
Hey, this is live.
Yeah.
Ask a question.
The joys. All right, so
The joys.
so do you think that like you were saying about how the OGs, like, or just like people in general, just discipling or raising the next generation up, right, in Christian hip hop. Do you think that, based on the feedback that you've received, noticing the fact that there are those who are trying to hold true, right, that aren't considered OGs, but are those who are just trying to hold true, but the part that we are addressing, do you think that this is a matter of them building their house on the sand? Christian hip hop, this section in general, building their house in the sand, on a faulty foundation, and in the fact that it needs to be addressed. And I bring that up because just knowing that the sand is a faulty foundation. Yeah. Now, I don't even know what a storm in CHH would look like that would come across that house, or maybe it's those who are coming against it, who are trying to bring it down and like revamp it and do all that. But like what does that look like? All
right. So Shane is asking. I don't even know what he's asking. Where's mine, baby?
Sammy.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, okay. Where's mine? I need my cafe, man. That's important. All right, so Shane is asking something about building on the sand. What if one side is building on a sand,
or has been building
on the sand,
yeah,
and there's another side that's on solid ground, and there's a storm coming? That's what you're saying? I guess we'll find out who's real and who's not.
We will.
I guess we'll find out who's real and who's not, because I do believe that there is it's so funny, Shane, because I was about to post something about that, but I didn't want to be corny. Like, I didn't want to quote Cat Lady from Batman. There's a storm coming. Like, I didn't want CHH. Like, I didn't want to be corny, but I was thinking about that. I was like, man, maybe there is a storm. Yo, is there for real a storm? I think there is a storm coming. Now that you say that, because more people are waking up to this, and more people are talking about leaving CHH. Or I'm gonna tell you like this, and now it's not. I probably shouldn't tell you. Let me not tell you.
I'm gonna tell you, but I ain't gonna tell you.
But I'm gonna tell you this. I'll tell you this much. I'm not alone. I am not, to say the least. I am not alone. I'm far from being alone. Matter of fact, the people that are trying to defend this thing even agree to a certain extent. Even they too can't front, and they know that there's some things going on that are going unchecked. There is a storm coming. There is a storm coming. People are waking up. Ephesians, what is it? Ephesians 8. Oh man, now
No,
I'm
wait,
gonna quote it.
Ephesians only goes to 6.
Ephesians 1:8. Ephesians 1:8. You know what I mean? Look it up.
Something eight.
Actually, Shane, let's
That's
test
a
your
new
skills.
Bible.
Let's test
Oh,
your
here
skills,
we
Shane.
go.
Here we
Here
go.
we go.
I'm gonna flip it up. Ready? All right. So in Ephesians, where it talks about, I didn't say chapter 8, by the way. It's verse 8. But I'm trying to figure out what chapter it was. It is verse 8, though.
Yeah.
In Ephesians, it talks about exposing what's in the darkness.
Yeah.
Where does it say that? Where it says in Ephesians, exposing what's in the darkness.
Expose what's in the dark.
Yeah.
I would.
Go ahead and. Are you talking? Go ahead.
Hello? Check.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say it's either 3. No, not 3. It's 4. Ephesians 4 or 5.
Go and look it up, man.
Either I'm gonna look it up, bro.
What's going
I
on,
thought this was a quiz. I thought it was a quiz. Well, I'll look it up. But let's keep
All right,
going.
so-
Keep going. And
So
I'll look it up.
so in Ephesians, it talks about exposing what's in the darkness, and I'm not saying like
Darkness.
I'm not saying that's what I'm trying to do. I'm really honestly just trying to address certain things that I see, and that I'm concerned with. I don't have, anything that I have to expose anybody. Like, that's not my mission. Is to bring awareness to issues. Like, bring awareness. That's all I want to do. Provoke thought, bring awareness, talk about it. This is a place where we can have those conversations, because most people ain't even talking about it.
Facts.
And
it needs to be addressed.
But in the Bible, it does talk about exposing what's in the dark. And I believe,
and again, like we've said before, our intentions is to build this to be where it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be a community. There shouldn't be any capitalization in regards to this genre. No one should be capitalizing and trying to get rich off this genre. It should be something that we are proclaiming and we're doing
in a godly way.
In a godly way. If someone was to be financially, blessed by this, but as a byproduct of it, amen to that. But as someone just taking advantage of the culture, and taking advantage of Christians and stuff like that.
Did you just say culture vulture?
Yes, culture vultures should be dealt with. In a loving
What's
way.
a culture vulture, man?
A culture vulture, someone who takes advantage.
See, Shane describes the biblical definitions.
Yes.
And
We'll use the street terms.
You define the street terms. Go ahead.
So culture vulture is someone who basically is taking advantage of a culture. Like they are most of the time, those that are culture vultures are not even from the culture. Which
do they have to be that?
Which is weird.
Clout chasers. He said.
I mean that
trolls.
Those are
And
all
clout chasers.
They all fall in the same
Culture
category, I
vultures.
guess, in a way. But yeah, people who just take advantage. It doesn't even have to be financially either. They just take advantage of a culture. It could be to promote their agenda. It could be money. It could be anything. But just someone who just takes something and uses it for personal gain rather than building or assisting.
They're not concerned with building.
Yeah.
They're just concerned with building their own platform.
Exactly.
They don't care about everybody else. What I see a lot too is a lot of artists that when they do voice the concerns, they're quickly hushed and intimidated. And I don't see dealt with in kindness. I feel like it's just automatically get up out of here, blah, 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 like hush him up. The mission, it just looks like hush him up.
Yeah.
Try to discredit him and then hush him up and get him up out of here. When there are real people that have legitimate concerns.
Facts.
And it should be addressed. So I guess it's just like, a system, I guess. I know, like I said, not to keep repeating myself, but there are some individuals that are going to attack this thing. I think it'll be wise for everybody who likes Christian hip hop to pray about, what's happening within it. And to pray for more people to rise up and speak against the shadiness that's happening. and more solutions, not only just to speak against, but solutions. Like, I would like to get beyond this point and be like, all right, now let's build this thing up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like quick shout out to Dayton, who is now helping an artist, which is what we wanted. You know, Mr. Stefanato is a brand new artist that he brought up, and he's now pouring into him, and he's, you know, up and coming in his new label, Menace Movement, this is what we're asking for. We want new blood. We want new people to come in and get a platform and have new artists be able to speak whatever God put in their hearts. You know, it shouldn't be a select few and the top dogs that just chill at the top and it's always them and the spotlight is always them. The platform is always for them. There's a lot more than a handful of artists in the world that have a message, that want to be heard, that want to be in the same creative space as them. You know, so, you know, shout out to that move. That's dope. That's exactly what we want. And that's exactly what we are fighting for. That's the purpose of this show, is that we want this thing to grow. We don't want it to just be the same thing over and over and over and over. Yeah. You know what I mean? When it first started, it was the cross movements and we had those guys. And now there was a time where it grew, which is why we have the Lecrae's and the Andy Minios and all that. It shifted, but for some reason, it just stopped.
Yeah.
It didn't continue to roll.
Well, it continued, but it just continued. It kind of got out of hand, got out of control.
Yes, in that aspect, yeah. But what I'm saying is stopped is as there's no growth anymore. There's no new. There's nothing new about it. It's just
you know what it is? Is that I think personally, it's not because there's a bunch of artists, so we can't say like.
Yeah, there's a bunch of artists, but they don't have the same level platform that these top dudes do.
Well.
That's the point. I'm not saying there's a shortage of artists because there's a ton of them.
But here's the other thing, though, that you got to remember. So there's only a handful of media sites and there's only a handful of record labels. So it's like what's happening is there's a multitude of rappers and artists that are all trying to flourish through the bottleneck media sites, the handful of media sites and the handful of record labels, and everybody's trying to rush in, and it's a bottleneck effect. What we also need is not only labels, like you said, you were happy because what's his name? Dayton branched off of God Over Money, and he starts Menace Movement. Thank you. It's about to drop the ball bad there. He starts his Menace Movement, and he signs his artist. So now there's space now over here from God Over Money. There's growth. So you're celebrating that there's growth there.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's part of it. Then the other part of it is the media sites start bubbling up. The podcasts start bubbling up. Like, this is also part of growth. Yeah. All these other different areas within the whole sphere of Christian hip hop. Well, in general,
the reason why I mentioned that was because it's someone who has a big platform
that used it the right way. Yeah, he's using it to bring somebody up.
Where these other things that are happening, they're starting from the ground up, like we are.
No, but I'm piggybacking off of what you're saying.
Yeah,
saying like all of these things need to grow, and I feel like sometimes some people either feel the pressure to hold on to it all themselves, and we know that's unwise. Some people feel like they don't want to give it up because they're trying to keep their fan base or their following or whatever the case may be. If other labels pop up and other media sites pop up, and it makes it an equal playing field for everybody across the board, and not one place can hold all the followers of that thing. So it might be tough at times, difficult to think that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what's needed for this thing to grow. That's what's necessary for this thing to take off. But also with accountability, organization, all these other parts, and now this is like becoming a bigger picture. So I don't want to like go on a tangent again. Here we go, round 2. But I'm just saying, like, these are things that I want to break up with the show.
Yeah.
These are things that I want to break up, simplify and biblical. These are the things that I want to break up and talk about, because next week we can hit that. This week is OGs. Respect the guys that came in. In the multitude of many, there's wisdom. Have accountability, seek discipleship, even amongst your brothers. And OGs, the older cats that's been in the game for 10 plus years, when the artists try to reach out to you, I'm not saying you're obligated to take that, that task on your shoulders, because you're not. But I think in the back of your mind, you should be thinking, let me help some of these people out. Or in the back of your mind, you should be saying, let me help this media site over here trying to come up. Or let me interview. Actually, KB was talking about that. I don't want you to reach out to me and expect that you have to pay me to come to your show or your event or whatever all the time. Yeah. I want to be able to come through. Like, I don't want to be that superstar artist that, that you can't afford my presence. KB was talking about that.
And he was so dope.
He was even amening the track stars. He was telling them. He was like, we need things like this.
Yeah.
And R. Swift was talking about our platform, because at one point R. Swift was talking. He's R. Swift, man. I love that dude. At one point he got fired up about just his real life scenario, and he was like, "You think I had time to talk about CHH, bro? Like I'm on a mission." Yeah. And I felt foolish. I felt like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even do this. And then I told him, I was like, man, it makes me think, like, should I even tackle this thing? Like, am I? And he's like, no. Like, this is necessary.
It's just not for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. At some point, maybe he might start a podcast, but I know he was thinking about the idea. Man, I don't know how much info I leak. Like, just let me know. Sorry, brothers, but there's a lot of other stuff, like whatever. So it's cool. Yeah, man. I mean, things are moving. I'm
it was
excited.
An eventful week, to say the least.
Yeah. It was a crazy week. Yeah. It was a crazy week.
Getting them calls randomly from Mario and
yeah, it was ups and downs, man.
And hear how excited he is and stuff like that.
It was almost like every day. Dude.
Yeah,
I was like, yo.
I was like, yo, you're not gonna believe who I just got off the phone with.
No, don't make it like I was sweating it. Like,
no, I'm not saying he's sweating the dude.
I didn't do that. Don't do that to me. I was like, yo, bro. Sorry, man. I was just talking to somebody. What's up?
Oh, he was manly with it. He was like, yo, I was talking.
And you were like, yo, are you gonna tell them? Like, switch over, like, tell them, call you back? Nah, I don't care. What's up? Now let's talk. They can hang up. They'll call back. That's what you call saving face.
Mario's like, you're not gonna believe who I was talking to.
No. Do not. Absolutely not. So I think,
but though it wasn't the fact that it was the person that you were talking to. It was more so the encouragement, the information.
Well, that had related to what we were just.
That's what I'm saying.
Going through that week.
When you were like, "Yo, you're not gonna believe who I was talking to," it was because of the validation.
I didn't say that.
It was
don't try to make this story like a nice story.
No, it's exactly what it was.
Keep your narrative going, bro. Like, nah.
Why can't, as men, we be excited that we spoke to another guy who is above us and where we want to be at? Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but you're painting this narrative like I was like,
you were excited that you just got off.
Oh my goodness, Gail. In a quiet corner, like, Gail, you never believe what just happened to me.
That's why.
And this is how Gil responds. Hold on, I'm pulling over right now.
That's exactly what happened. I did a friggin' 360.
All the gallons of water fell off the truck.
He's talking about him, but now you're trying to get me fired. I drive for a living. I don't be answering the calls while I'm driving. Dang.
All right, yo, I think we're good, man. Yeah, unless you guys have any questions, let us know. Any suggestions, let us know. Hit me up. music@marrioesco.com. 2 R's in my name. Hit me up there if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you want to share. This is not the place where we want to gossip and do all that. That's not what we're doing here. But we do want to share information. We do want to report on certain things that we see. And with discernment, so that way we don't cross those lines and get into gossip and slander, because we know that, you know, there needs to be integrity when it comes to reporting on things. And I think that you can do that in a godly way. You know, like you can report on things in a godly way without slandering or gossiping. That's not what we want to do. Just like Shane said, I love when you made that analogy to the building, you know, and some you want to just, you know, completely drop, some you want to break apart slowly and rebuild. And I thought that analogy was perfect. And that's what we want to do. Like each subject that we talk about, if it needs to come down completely, then let's tackle that. If it needs to be rebuilt carefully, then let's do that as well. So feel free to hit me up, even direct hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about the show. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see in the future. Definitely gonna be, you know, remodeling the new spot, and excited about that. So stay with us. If you're listening on the podcast, I highly recommend that you follow the link and leave me a review on wherever you listen, whether it's a podcast app, whether it's on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play. It's available all there. Even YouTube, we upload the videos on YouTube as well. Wherever you hear the show, you know, just leave me a comment. Let me know that you're listening in that space, and let me know what you liked and what you didn't like about the show. But we're trying to grow. Yeah. We're trying to continue to give you valuable content and entertain y'all at the same time, and just have fun and just chop it up. Anything y'all want to say?
Oh, thanks for the guys and gals that came in and spent this time with us. We love you guys. We appreciate y'all. We love you to keep us in prayer. And like Mario said, you know, give us some feedback, and definitely share this. If you know somebody who is in CHH or trying to get into CHH, share this with them. We would love to chat with them, or just have them, you know, be in the show with us, and they can comment on the show as we're filming live. So that's pretty much it.
Dope. Shane?
Just, guys, thank you for checking us out. Thank you for those who, you know, jumped into the live, and those who listen. When Mario says to reach out if you have any feedback or whatnot, he's serious. Take that seriously. Whether it's encouragement, or, believe me, we're encouraged by even constructive criticism.
Yeah,
you know?
Amen.
Because we take every opportunity that we can to grow.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid. You know, I mean, I'll be honest. Do it nice though. But no,
they'll put a tangent right in your DM.
I'm exposing you.
Finish him.
But it's like finish your opponent. In a godly way, of course.
Yeah, of course. But literally, like, you know, by all means, like, reach out.
You drop a scripture on him. On the body, just laying there.
Psalms everywhere.
Friendship.
No, but yeah. So reach out.
Friendship.
Let us know your feedback.
Yeah.
And we'd love that.
Amen. Now, I forgot to put this up here, but check that out. Bam.
Thank you. So those who thought I was Marrio Esco this whole entire show, I apologize.
He is not Marrio Esco.
I'm actually Gil Vargas. Surprise.
Hey.
Just trying to make sure you're paying attention.
All right, y'all. We love y'all. Grace and peace. Till next week. Every Friday, 8:30 we try. I had a new modem. It failed. I put the old one back in. So every Friday, 8:30 we try to be here. I don't think Gil's going to be with us in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Jamaica.
He's going to Jamaica. So prayers with Gil. And I think it's just me, Brent, Shane, and Brent.
Nah, I will.
Oh yeah, you're not going to be there.
Next week I will be at the college ministry has a fall conference where all, you know, at least in our network, college students from all over New England will be going to Hyannis, and so it's going to be a fun time. If I could, if you wanted to get any updates of what's going on at Roger Williams, some good stuff. Guys, been doing some great things. You can email at info. It's info@csfrwu.com. And I can get you on the subscription, and where I sent out a monthly newsletter. So
sick,
some good things.
Cool. So next week you're not gonna be here.
I will not be here next week.
So I gotta find some people.
You do.
It will probably be the best show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, whatever.
Amen, brother.
Brent, get ready.
Yo, Brent, you gonna be on the show, kid?
So hey, till next week, guys. Grace and peace. We love y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Take care. If you're listening on the podcast, be sure to check out my Facebook music page, Marrio Esco 1. Again, 2 R's in my name, the number 1 at the end, Marrio Esco 1. Be sure to like and follow that page because I like to give who I'll be interview, leave a description on what we'll be talking about. And I also like the real-time one-on-one back and forth interaction. If you don't have the time to join us on Facebook Live, be sure to check out my podcast. It's called Marrio Esco Live, 2 R's in my name. Again, you'll see the white silhouette of myself with the cross underneath. Be sure to subscribe to that and follow the link as well to whatever podcast you're using or however you're receiving the podcast, and leave us a review. We love to hear feedback. You can also hit me up at music@marioesco.com and just hit me up with some feedback and ways that we can improve the show or the things that you like and enjoy. Any type of feedback will be highly appreciated. Grace and peace.